I'm going to show you how you can test your AOS on your Porsche, and we're going to start right now. My name is Aaron and this is Help Me DIY. Welcome to another video. If this is your first time here and you like learning how to save money and do your own work on your Porsches and BMWs and other DIY kind of things, you're in the right spot. Start now by subscribing and click that little bell notification so you don't miss anything. I just picked up a new tool from Amazon. I'll have that link in the description. This is a manometer. It is a digital tool to help you read pressures. It came with this little nipple here that I'm going to be using, and I bought a new oil cap because I'm going to destroy one. So what I'll actually probably do is use this one as the real one, and I'll just take my old one and modify it. But what I'm going to do is drill a hole in it and attach this here so that I can take the tubing that comes with this guy and hook it up. I'll show you all that in just a second, but first I just kind of want to go over why you want to test this and what an AOS does and what a failure can mean for you. So first things first, an AOS stands for Air Oil Separator, and it's part of the PCV system of your car's emissions. And PCV is positive crankcase ventilation. That's what that stands for. And these AOS components are typically considered a maintenance item on these Porsches. So a lot of people say every 6 years or 75,000 miles, they're probably going to need to be replaced. So I'm looking at mine specifically because on startup, I get a lot of smoke out of the exhaust, and that is a common symptom of an AOS failure. But that's not the only reason that it can smoke, so don't just go out there and replace your AOS assuming that that's the issue when there's an easy test. You can actually see if your AOS has failed or is failing and needs to be replaced. So I found a great article on LN Engineering's website that talks about what are the common pressures and what you should expect them to be. I'll put a link to that article in the description of this video so you can go check it out. But briefly, for the M96 and M97 engines, which is Boxster and Caymans, typically the early 986, 97s, what you want to see is 5 inches of water, so not mercury. So the manometer that I have has a way to change units that it reads in, so we're gonna make sure that we put it on inches of H2O. And we want it to read around 5.0. So anywhere between 4 and 6 is probably okay. Anything outside that range is not good. And they talk about several things that could cause low pressure, and one of them is a missing oil fill cap, or if this inner O-ring is missing or damaged. The second item is if your car has spark plug tubes like my old Boxster does. If those are cracked or damaged, it could be allowing a vacuum leak. Number 3, if your car has the dipstick tube, if it is cracked or improperly seated, it could be causing a leak. And of course, the multiple tubes going in and out of the AOS themselves, if those pieces are cracked or broken, that could be your leak. But if the pressure reading is too high, there is only one cause of that, and that is a failed AOS. So I'm very curious to find out what my issue is, so we're gonna bring it down off the lift so we can test it. Let's do a little surgery. So this is the old cap, which it has a different color gasket in it, which is interesting. So I'm gonna drill the hole here. So I have a 5/16, but that seems just a little too small. 3/8 matches up really well. I wanted it to be a little bit smaller than this so that the threads can bite on there and be airtight. All right, block of wood, this guy. I'm gonna drill right down the middle. Yeah. Alright. And I'm actually gonna get some thread tape for it. Alright, a little bit of this can't hurt. Let's see, let's get this started by hand. Turns out it's a 12 millimeter. All right, there we go. We have our new tool. I'm gonna use this thing for the first time now. It did not come with batteries. I had to put 3 AAAs in it, I think, something like that. So it's got a power button. You can turn it on. I already found the units button here. So press the units button to change the units, and we want it to be the H2O. So that's inches of mercury, feet of H2O, centimeters of H2O, inches of H2O. Okay, that's what we want. And I think if you hit the diff button, that's the one that takes the difference between the two. Yeah, so that zeroes it out. So that's what I want right here to start with. You can see on the top of this thing, one is the minus and one is the plus. I think we want to hook the minus up to this thing, so that's what I'm going with first. Okay, remove the new cap that I just bought. Put the old one back on. Locked into place. Take my minus tube. All right, so we got that on there. Still have our 0 reading. They say you're supposed to do this test with the car warm, but mine is cold. So instead of just warming it up and trying it, I'm gonna experiment and see what kind of reading I get with it cold, because why not? So I'm gonna go start the car. Celsius Fahrenheit button, and now it is starting to read. All right, and I did switch it into the positive thing while I was experimenting, so let me switch it back to negative, see what happens. All right, yeah, back on the negative, I'm getting positive readings. Haha. So I'm just gonna let it idle here for a little bit, warm up. Try to give it some rev, see what happens. All right, turn the car off. Unplug this guy. And it looks like it's not fully centered, so I probably need to add a 0.1 to the values I was seeing. So now when I hit the diff button, interesting. Yeah, so diff does not clear it out. It looks like there's almost like 2 stored values in it. I don't know. Oh, when I hit Celsius Fahrenheit, that thing increments. So maybe that stores the different values. And then when I hit diff, it toggles through the stored values. That looks like what it's doing. So the first time I hit Celsius, it was at 4.68, I guess. Well, there you have it, guys. According to everything that I have read, my AOS is working properly and the bladder is not broken, so it seems to be doing its job. If anybody out there has measured this before and you've found something similar or different, please let me know in the comments. So anyway, I really hope you guys have found this helpful. Please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next Porsche video.